ever encounter a person in real life who starts any sentence with any form of this phrase, as a man, as a woman,
No.
as a gay man,
No.
as a trans person, as a whatever, walk away.
Yeah.
Avoid that person like the plague. They're a terrible human being.
Yeah.
No human being had anything interesting to say after that phrase. It's a pretty smart business strategy from Elon Musk, because you're at a point now where you have to buy the blue check mark, and the benefit of buying the blue check mark is that people with blue check marks, their replies get put at the top above people without blue check marks. So now, in order for Twitter to function like Twitter used to function, everybody has to buy a blue check mark. But if everybody has a blue check mark, nobody's getting at the top. Now we're just back to regular Twitter with a paywall. All right, well, we got a video on my YouTube feed from a guy I've never seen before, but he's got like 1.2 million views on this. So I don't know. He seems decently popular, but it's called AI is Ruining the Internet. So I guess we're gonna watch this and then go to bed. So
She got a neck and and a butt?
No torso. Yep, that's just straight to the butt. Okay. So we're gonna figure out how AI is ruining the internet. Oh God.
Oh God.
Day in the life of a lazy teenager who makes.
All right. Oh, now I gotta resize it because it was sized for TikTok. Yeah. All right, there we go. North Korea, more like no border Korea. All right. So day in the life of a lazy TikTok something? Okay.
Makes $21,000 a month using just his phone. The first thing I do when I go on my phone is open YouTube. Then I search for any particular streamer and I screen record their content. Then I head to Creo.ai, select my gameplay, and it puts the whole video together for me. Last month, this page alone made me $14,000.
Here's how I make $1 million every day as a 3-year-old toddler working from home. First, I look for a funny YouTube video, preferably one with a lot of colors and sounds. Then I film my iPad with my phone. Then I upload it to Microsoft's Copilot AI powered by Bing GPT, and it adds infuriatingly inept Subway Surfers gameplay to the clip. Then I boot my diaper. Then TikTok mails me a check for 200 grand, which I'm pretty sure my parents have been using to fund their online gambling addiction. Hey guy, has anyone else noticed how awesome the internet is lately? I, for one, find it so exciting that every website now has their own named version of AI that pops up begging you to use it. You got any questions for Gemini? Or maybe Murph? Nendo? How about Grok? You need to grok something?
Yeah, that's on Twitter.
AI
Grok.
has become completely inescapable. Even if you're going to a website where you're
Told y'all it's not going away.
You don't expect it to be. Like, remember when you could search for something on Google and the only thing they would show you was a bunch of relevant websites and results? Boring.
You can still get to that, by the way. I'll show y'all after the video.
It's much better that now they're using artificial intelligence to tell me to jump off a bridge. Hey Google, do I need a parachute while skydiving? Nope, a regular backpack works just as well. Hey Google, can cockroaches live in your penis? Of course they can.
Whoa!
Absolutely.
Wow, I love
That's how they got the name cockroaches.
This is the ultimate example of what the AI craze is doing to tech companies, because for the most part, it's not really doing anything differently than it used to. For a long time now, they've had searches that result in one highlighted answer. This is kind of the same thing, but just rebranded as AI because that makes it sound smarter than it actually is. But it's not like it's carefully compiling all the most reputable.
Yeah, it literally takes the search result that's right under it and shows it to you.
It's still just aggregating it from one place. And because Google recently spent a bunch of money to buy all of Reddit's data, usually that place is just a random Reddit post from like 10 years ago.
Yep.
About how you should put glue on your pizza to get cheese to stick to it was from a user named Fucksmith. This one, you should be eating at least one rock per day, is a direct headline from The Onion, perhaps the most famous.
I would have also accepted Gwyneth Paltrow.
But that would be about eating it through your vagina.
Potato.
This is so dangerous for someone to read this and think.
Is that not how ladies eat things?
One small rock every day. When most
learn something new every day, huh?
Well, you guys aren't eating the rocks with your vagina; you're polishing them.
For real though, I do
That's why they're so smooth.
That a website people for information and tend to trust, for better or for worse, is so willing to destroy that trust just because they thought this gimmick would make their stock price go up.
And it did. Yeah. I was going to say, and it did.
Celebrate by putting gasoline in my spaghetti. Something I've been kind of interested in lately is the dead internet theory, which, if you dig too much into, comes with some weird baggage, makes some pretty ridiculous claims. So I'm just going to separate.
We're digging into
the
that
core
later.
idea and make it its own thing. But basically, just the idea that as time goes on, the internet is turning into a place where most of the content on it is not only produced and managed by AI, but is also being interacted with by AI in this kind of endless loop that doesn't even involve humans at all. Like, if you've gone on Quora at all recently, you've probably noticed
Who the fuck uses Quora?
Asked by bots, filled with answers given by bots. So what was initially created as a place where people could go to get advice from other people has been overrun by AI. Just
It's because it's Quora. They have no moderation
team.
team.
Are also going through a similar shift right now, but perhaps none more prevalent than Facebook. In 2019,
I always saw the
Facebook
dumbest
deleted
people on
over
Quora.
5
It's the
billion
absolute,
accounts for being
like,
fake.
I feel like it's,
Far
I feel like it
exceeded
was
the
a
human
Ask
account. And that was
Jeeves for
before all
senior
these programs
citizens.
became as widely available as they are now. At this point, most of Facebook seems to be these giant spam accounts run by bots,
Yep.
posting content created by AI that's being
Because it
selected
tricks
with
old
comments
people.
that may or may not have been written by
And
ChatGPT.
stupid young
Today's
people.
my birthday. Please, please, I like meat. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Amen. 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 As soon as one type of photo
Jesus.
becomes successful, you'll start seeing a bunch.
Yeah,
that
it's
are almost
Facebook because it
exactly
tricks
the
old
same.
people.
A grandma
Yeah.
who's turning
You guys do
1,000,000
not
years
want to
old
see my
and
dad's
wants to
Facebook
be
page.
loved. A comically
It is
long
just post
truck
after
full of
post like
American
this.
flags driving down the wrong side of the highway. Soldiers and dog soldiers with mechanical legs. Today my birthday. No one loves me because I'm poor. Honestly, man, if I had to guess, I think it's actually because of your shoes. Have you tried?
Jesus fuck Christ!
Terrified? Today's my birthday. No, yon lodines because I'm poor. Again, I don't think it's cause you're poor. I think it's the shoe. I'm single. I need a boyfriend. I'm available. I'm right here for you both. Can you come to me? I will take you out and show you off to everyone and tell them this is my girlfriend.
Anyone thinking that AI art is going to take over?
No.
You ain't got nothing to worry about.
If you went to an old
You guys are
mall that's on
overreacting.
its last legs, they've only got a few open stores left.
I mean, that guy was on his last foot.
It would be like if that mall
One big
tried
one.
to trick you into thinking it's still popular by filling itself with talking mannequins. They're just repeating robotic catchphrases like, ah, what a beautiful day at the mall. I'm going to browse Spencer's for novelty goods. And you're like, who the hell is falling for this? And then you look over at your uncle and he's trying to fuck one of the mannequins.
Yep.
Heads and 3 arms and your uncle's completely undeterred
Jesus.
by it. That's what Facebook is now. You'll see
Yep,
the
that's what
most
Facebook is
freakish
now.
Photos go viral on there, and they're filled with comments from middle-aged dudes like, "You may be a little unusual, oh quirky one, but God makes no mistakes. I will pray for you. Now please DM me so I can show you my penis." And honestly, I don't even know if Facebook wants to put a stop to this. All
They
they're ever
don't.
gonna
It's
care
getting
about
them
is
money.
keeping people on
Yeah.
their platform, and if this is what gets them to scroll longer and see more ads, they probably love it. Or at least they'll love it until advertisers start to realize they're overpaying for ad space because none of the impressions they're getting are from real people, so they'll leave to advertise on other websites, and in their place will be ads for, like, I don't know, crystals that give you superpowers.
Dick pills.
Oh, that's already
It's gonna be
happening.
dick
These
pills.
are those rhombohedron
Oh my God.
crystals in your pineal gland. We're seeing common
Pineal
people
gland.
around the world becoming supernatural.
That's a real ad I got on Facebook. Maybe Twitter's doing better? Let's see what kind of ads they got. Oh, here we go. An ad for stand-up comedy. Nothing weird about that. Just a regular human doing regular human stuff.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Europe. Europe who? No, Europe who?
I think our kids watch
Okay,
some
I
of these
think that
videos.
joke only works if you put the emphasis
It would
on
explain her
the
obsession with poo
or
tonight.
Poo. I don't know if the AI voice really understands that.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Europe. Europe who? No, Europe who?
Again, similar problem as before, but I do love that he's shouting now.
Knock, knock.
There are 2 big changes that Elon has made.
You're a poo!
Website infinitely worse. One, he turned verification into a paid program where
Yes, that
Yeah.
was terrible.
$8 a month,
Yeah.
you get
Every time I see some
So
idiot with a blue
dumb.
check mark
Yeah,
now, I'm like,
like-
ooh, look who's simping for
replies to
Twitter.
other posts.
Yeah.
Shortly afterwards, they also added a monetization program so those blue checkmark people could make money off of their tweets. Now, in theory,
Oh,
this is
wait a
good
minute.
thing. I think if a platform is profiting off of your content, it's only fair that you get a percentage of that.
Yes.
Problem is, on Twitter specifically, most of the content that these accounts produce is just stolen memes and videos, or people just saying intentionally divisive shit
Yep.
to get everyone mad
Yep.
and farm engagement. So Elon has taken what he describes as the internet's town square and added a financial incentive to being toxic. So that sucks, but that doesn't really have anything to do with AI. What does have to do
As a general rule of thumb, everyone watching, I'm stopping the video for this. As a general rule of thumb, if you ever encounter a person in real life who starts any sentence with any form of this phrase, as a man, as a woman,
No.
as a gay man,
No.
as a trans person, as a whatever, walk away.
Yeah.
Avoid that person like the plague. They're a terrible human being.
Yeah.
No human being had anything interesting to say after that
After
phrase.
saying that.
Just like no human being ever had anything of note to say after "I'm not racist, but."
Gonna give it a
Okay.
go.
Okay?
Oh, God.
This is the left-leaning version of that phrase. Avoid it like the plague. Hate those people. There's 100% chance they will have pronouns and flags as their bio on Twitter. Pronouns and flag emojis. Let's go.
With AI is the other version of engagement farming all over Twitter. This like mindless chat GPT clutter. Remember, buying a blue check mark puts your tweets at the top of replies. So I guess some people
That's
did
the
the
point.
math and were like, well, if I just program a bot to comment thousands of replies.
It's a pretty smart business strategy from Elon Musk, because you're at a point now where you have to buy the blue check mark, and the benefit of buying the blue check mark is that people with blue check marks, their replies get put at the top
put at the
above
top.
people without
Yeah,
blue check marks. So now, in order for Twitter to function like Twitter used to function, everybody has to buy a blue check mark. But if everybody has a blue check mark, nobody's getting at the top. Now we're just back to regular Twitter with a paywall. So you're not getting the product you were promised. You were promised if you pay me $8 a month, I'll put your replies at the top. But everybody else in that reply thread also paid $8 a month for that privilege. So who goes at the top? I guess nobody. It cancels itself out, which puts you right back at square one. Only now you're $8 poorer.
Yeah.
Welcome to Twitter. I'm sorry, X.
Never gonna call it that.
I can make at least $9 or $10, and that's what I like to call a profit. Oh, new movies coming out with Emma Stone? Cool. I wonder what people are saying about it. Good actor, amazing title. Good one, amazing. As title showing, it will be a blockbuster. The film also stars Jesse Plemons, Willem Dafoe, Margaret Qualley. Yeah, no, I read all that. In the tweet that you're replying to, Stone has starred in many films, including Superbad, Easy A, and La La Land. She's known for her natural charm and husky voice. She's also appeared in Cruella, The Amazing.
It's just copy and pasting her IMDb page.
Including an Academy Award, a British Academy Film Award, a Golden Globe. Oh my God, why are the top replies just summarizing Wikipedia? Can we maybe prioritize things that are relevant to the conversation? Can we talk about the actual movie? Can we talk about the political and economic state of the world right now? No, we can't, because this is what happens when you incentivize people to farm impressions. But I also have a conspiracy theory that some of these accounts are not doing it for profit, but were instead created by Twitter themselves to make it seem like there's more users on their site than there actually are. Because again, who
Twitter doesn't
benefits
need to
from
do that.
inflated impression numbers on paid ads? Not users, not the advertisers.
I mean, it's
only the platform itself. See,
Yeah,
some
it's a
accounts
conspiracy
don't
theory.
have check marks or even profiles.
Everyone has a
for that
Twitter.
matter. So there's no financial gain for them to be doing this. They don't seem to be promoting anything. But that hasn't stopped them from copying and pasting AI-generated comments that cut off as soon as it hits the character limit. I'm glad someone is finally shedding light on the importance of mental health awareness. It's amazing how many people are still struggling in silence, thinking they're alone in their battles. This is in response to a baseball player breaking his hand? But I think the weirdest and most confusing implementation of AI on social media that I've seen is these meta-created Instagram accounts that are either
Oh, yeah,
modeled
I've seen
after
those.
celebrities,
Oh, yeah.
but with different names and personalities, or just regular AI-generated people, and they post these stupid photos that look like shit. And you can message them. And
I've
for
seen
the
it.
life of me, I cannot understand what the hell the point of this is.
To trick
Actually,
incels,
they're just
and
using
it's
your
working.
conversations to train their language model. But I asked one.
Can I count the number of incel guys who message
Although now that I think
e-thoughts
about it, I'm
that
not
aren't
so
real
sure
and are made by AI?
anything they said, because I only talked to her for a few minutes.
You should see the
Lied to
comments
me
on those
multiple
pictures.
times.
Show that,
She
Drew.
tells me she's is a mother of 2.
Oh, he talked to one of
Obviously,
them.
I asked her how long she was pregnant and if there were any complications during childbirth. And she said 40 weeks and 2 days and 38 weeks and 5 days. Her daughter was born naturally, but she had to have a C-section for her son, and I said, gross. Then I asked her if her name was short for Olivia, and she says it's short for Lavana, actually, and asked me if I know anyone with that name. I said I know 100 people named Lavana and 200 people named Olivia, but none of them are my friends. Then I asked her what she does for work, and she says she doesn't have a traditional job. So I asked her what her husband does for work, and she says wife, actually. So then I asked her if she adopted or gave birth, and she says they adopted both of their children. And I'm like, didn't you just say you had to have a C-section with one of them? And she said, that's right. So I was like, oh, I get it. You gave birth to them and then adopted them from yourself. And she was like, not quite. We adopted our children through a traditional adoption agency. Then I asked her if she had to have a sperm donor since she's a lesbian, and she said, that's right. Then I asked, which one of you gave birth, you or your wife? And she says, my wife gave birth to our son and I gave birth to our daughter. So I was like, oh, so your wife had to have a C-section? And she said yes. Then she told me their names were Max and Ava, and that Max is 9 and Ava is 6.
Wait, I thought it was
said,
Olivia.
Which one did you give birth to? And she said Ava, who was got it. So they both had to have C-sections so they could each give birth to one child.
And you guys were worried AI
So
would
they
take
decided to
over?
get pregnant first.
What?
She said she went
Jesus
first
Christ.
with Ava, and then her wife had Max. So I was like, how did you have Ava first if Max is older than her? And she said Max is actually younger than her. So I said, how old is Max? And she said 9. And I said, how old is Ava? And she said 6. And then I asked her what her legal name is, and she said Olivia. So I wouldn't exactly say I trust these things. Now, as pointless as this
Yeah,
sounds,
AI's not taking over shit,
No,
dude.
it's not.
significantly more popular version of this called Character AI, which apparently already has 20
I'm waiting for him to get to
million
the AI
users.
girlfriends.
It's got a bunch of
I want to see how
chatbots
those
and
work.
designed
'Cause
to
apparently,
people
they're working.
pretend to talk to real people.
Yeah,
The
kids
company
have
is
an app like
valued at
that.
around $1 billion and is built entirely off the likeness of real human beings, none of whom gave permission and are not being compensated. So there's probably a whole legal can of worms here that needs to be addressed at some point. But I did find out that I'm on the website, so I can finally live my dream of getting to talk to me. What do you do?
I make silly YouTube videos.
Oh my God.
Show
It has my
off
voice?
of Toshto where I just reacted to the internet.
Are you married?
Nope.
No.
I have a longtime girlfriend though.
When did they program this? Like 6 years ago?
Are you old enough to be married?
Am I old enough to be married? Brother, I just told you I'm 12.
Hey man, school sucks, but make sure you are still in there learning.
Well, this is probably the worst piece of technology that's ever existed. I do see one use for it, though. Can you tell me about today's video sponsor?
Sure thing, big guy. This portion of the video is brought to you by SoFi, the ultimate finance app helping you bank, borrow, and invest all in
Well
one.
done,
And
Drew.
we're also working
Good
together to
transition.
give $10,000 to someone
That's a
watching this
segue.
video right now.
Like me?
No, someone else. But more on that in a second. SoFi checking and savings is great because you can earn up to
Okay, this is the appropriate way to do a sponsor.
savings,
Yes.
which is 10 times the national average savings rate. That means in just 5 weeks with direct deposit, the money in your SoFi high yield savings account will earn more money than it would in an entire year with a big bank savings.
So $2.
And you should
It's
be
gonna
making
earn
your
$2.
money
Yeah.
make you money.
You earn
With
like
SoFi
10
checking
cents a
savings,
year
you
in a
can
big
pay it
bank
up to
savings
2 days
account. So
early,
it'll earn
and
like
no
$2.
account fees. And you can cash in on up to $300 when you sign up with direct deposit. And on top of all that, SoFi and I are giving away $10,000. All you have to do to enter is sign up for a SoFi checking and savings account with my link. That's it. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen right now to enter for a chance to win. Just make sure you're using my link because it's the only way to enter. Thank you, SoFi, for sponsoring today's video. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, pretty much.
Great.
A couple weeks ago, I was looking for stock photos, and I ended up on Adobe stock, where I noticed something strange. One of the first results had this very
Oh, that's
weird
Need for Speed.
artificial look to it. And sure enough, I zoomed in and realized, oh, that's
Oh, it's just a screenshot from a Need for
the
Speed
road
game.
looks like that. That's why none of the words are legible. And then I kept scrolling and found more. Again, words spelled wrong if they were even
Police.
words at all. In this one, the tape just kind of disappears into the head.
Oh, wow.
I think that's how they usually set that up. Now, if it wasn't bad enough that what's supposed to be a database full of real professional photographs has been completely diluted with unusable garbage, if I did want to license any of these photos, it would cost me $80. $80 for
Adobe's a
photo
scam.
generated
Yeah.
by typing police car.
I think they're being sued right now because of how hard they make it to cancel and how they automatically renew people after a trial period instead
Yeah.
of making them
Spend
confirm.
money to
Yeah.
license photos and videos is because it's something that they don't have the resources to create themselves. Like there's a website, I have a subscription.
It's not that they automatically would renew. It's that you'd go to get their 30-day free trial and select the monthly plan. But if you didn't confirm it by the end of the month or cancel your plan and then select one, you would have to cancel that monthly plan because it's a 30-day trial plan that renews as an annual subscription. So it would charge you for the whole
Yeah, it will
year
charge
after
you
it.
for the
And
whole
the whole
year.
year's like $300 some dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does things better. Get with the times, man. No, it's straight
And they
up
didn't warn
stealing
people, so
from
they're being
Yeah.
sued over it.
it's now competing against. In the case of Adobe, they outwardly state that if you've uploaded something to their database, they use it to train generative AI. It's not even debatable if they're doing this. It's literally written in their terms of service. Here at Adobe, we're all about empowering artists to help them make money off of their work. Unless, of course, we can make money off your work, in which case we will do that instead. The degradation of the internet as a resource database is something I think everyone should be concerned about. Like, if we already have real photographs of specific situations, what is the point of being like, and this one is kind of the same thing, but the computer made it? Why do we need that?
Oh, because there's no copyright on that.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's why.
Generative AI is used to create works of
That
fiction
real
that
picture
begin and
belongs to a real photographer with a real copyright attached to it. But the AI version that's almost the same but not quite is free. So they can own it and take all the profit and share it with no one. That's why.
There's something about that that feels wrong to me. I don't understand why we're in such a rush to replace all of the work that humans have done. Something that happened a few months ago that I feel like kind of flew under the radar was when it came out that Netflix used AI to create photographs in a documentary, not a movie, not a fictional TV show. They created photos of someone that do not exist. At what point does this cross an enormous ethical line? Again, we're not talking about works of fiction here.
I mean, Netflix made cuties. Ethical's not part of their business
Creating
model.
Fake documentation from scratch and not even mentioning, hey, by the way, this isn't real. I guess they just hoped people wouldn't notice that all her fingers are messed up and the
Ugh.
gap between the door disappears and not a single object behind her looks like something that exists. All for what? So they could have a photo of her looking happy and carefree? But she's a murderer. How could she do that if she likes to party? Like, why can't you just tell the real story? Why even make a documentary if you need to fake evidence in order to make it compelling? But even more importantly, how
Most
is this
documentaries do that, dude. I hate to
Yeah,
break it
they
to you.
do.
Documentaries aren't there to document the facts. They're there to preach a
Nice,
narrative.
relaxing music. Oh, here we
Yeah.
go. Jazz for reading. Perfect. I don't plan on reading, obviously, because I...
Look no further than,
Some nice
like,
piano music should
any
sound-
documentary by the writer Michael Moore. Like, they're all there to push a political agenda and paint a narrative. What was the one about the fucking stolen election? What,
Any of these artists.
200 mules or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, like absolutely none of that was real. Shit like that.
They have no bio and no links to any social media. Most of them didn't start uploading music until this year, and yet they've ended up in these extremely popular playlists created by Spotify themselves. And what's going on with this guy's foot? There's something.
It's because Spotify can use that music and not have to pay anyone for it. Again, it's copyright and money.
Spotify might
Yeah.
be using AI to create a bunch of songs that they can package under random pseudonyms and then curate these into playlists that they push out onto all their users.
They have AI songs, they attribute them to people that don't exist, and this allows them to take royalties that would go to musicians
Yeah,
and keep them
it's for
themselves.
money.
I mean, just look at the number of likes on all these. They can advertise these wherever they want, all over their app. Now, I want to stress there's currently no proof that Spotify's doing this. I'm not saying for a fact that they are, but it's not hard to understand hypothetically why they would. Spotify, like Netflix, is one of those companies that came in and disrupted the industry by offering a deal that seemed too good to be true. Because it was. Wait, for a few dollars a month, I can get access to every song ever made or every movie ever made? How could that possibly be profitable for them? The secret is that it isn't profitable and never has been. But as long as you get in early enough to kill all your competition, establish market control, and raise a bunch of money from investors, it doesn't have to be. At least
Yeah,
not for a while.
that's
But
how
now
startups
it's been
work.
a while,
They don't make
Spotify's
money,
getting a little bit more
They get their money from
desperate.
investors, and they give you a ridiculously good deal. And once all the competition's gone, they jack up the prices.
Yeah.
Fun fact,
They tried selling a
Uber
car
Eats,
accessory, but
DoorDash,
They're all the
Grubhub.
same company, aren't they?
No, they're not all the
They're-
same
they're all
company,
owned by the
but
same
each one of those companies
it was only $90.
doesn't make profit to this day.
And their new plan now
Oh.
is
They are
Wow.
still not profitable.
they'll just
They openly admit it.
on that.
But they're close.
But Spotify's also in a tricky spot because even
So pretty soon, like, their fees are going to go up once they've gotten. It seems like their goal is to get these businesses to stop doing deliveries themselves and to do everything through their apps.
Yeah.
And once your only choice for delivery is one of 3 apps, then they'll fight over pricing, over jacking up their prices.
Yeah.
There's still too much competition for them to do that at the moment, but they will eventually.
Almost no cost and force feed it to as many people as possible. Well, all of a sudden, we're not making 30% on those streams. We're making
you're making 100%.
Again, it's just a theory, but
It's a 70% increase in value.
For their entire existence, with a CEO who sees 0 ethical concerns with generative AI.
I would be surprised if we...
It's a one hand washes the other kind of thing. So I've used that AI music to make songs,
The realm of
Yeah.
and they don't charge for that. So everyone's like, how is this being funded? Well, if Spotify is one of their investors and paying them to make their AI better so that they can take their songs royalty free to make a bunch of money on their app, and one hand washes the other.
Being could ever compete with the volume of output these new tools can generate. Udio can create an entire song in the time it takes me to grab my guitar off the wall. And because of how easy these things are to use, I've already seen a bunch of videos pop up telling people how to game the system to make a bunch of money from Spotify.
Here's how you can make $10,000 per month uploading AI-generated music to Spotify.
Do you know what the best part is? I didn't even make the music myself.
Yeah, that sure is awesome. Personally, I find it really hard to understand why people would be excited about this, other than just seeing it as a quick way to make some money without having to learn a skill or even really do anything.
Well, I'll argue with him there.
But I could at least understand the logic of why they would see value in that. But what I absolutely do not understand is people who are excited about this because they think it's going to improve music. But as
God, I wish guys like him would actually do debates and stuff to argue this, because there is a skill involved in it. If you're trying to get it to output something that doesn't sound AI generated and is specific to a certain genre or has a certain sound to it, that's not easy to do. It's not easy to make the computer give you what you want. The skill comes in manipulating the AI and getting it to produce the sound that you want. Just in the same way a musician would manipulate an instrument to get it to produce the sound they want. So yes, it can make a track in 30 seconds, but you're going to go through 100 to 200 of those tracks to get the one you want. Yeah. So you're going to sit there for hours generating song after song after song until you get one you like, until you get one that has the specific sound you're going for, if you're going for something specific. And it will make music better, because eventually it'll never replace music. Right now, it's got that new toy feeling, so everyone just wants to use the shit out of it. Once society gets used to it, musicians, once they stop fighting against it, they'll find ways to incorporate it into music to enhance the sound of music and create new stuff, instead of using it to make entire music on its own. You'll learn to work with it. In the same way, this has happened over and over again throughout history. In the same way that when the electric guitar came out, everybody thought that the acoustic guitar would go the way of the dodo and no one would ever use it anymore. Why would you use this box with strings on it when you can produce a much better sound with electricity? Oh, you find ways to incorporate it and still make it sound good, and it's still used to this day. In the same way that when movies came out, everyone thought that no one would listen to talk radio. No one's going to listen to stories, being done over audio when you can just go watch the thing happen. Audiobooks are more popular than ever. Podcasts are more popular than ever. It's just you find ways to use the new stuff with the old. The same thing's going to happen here. It's going to go through the same cycle. People are going to learn how to manipulate and use the AI to do the parts of music they don't want to do, or that they suck at, or that, are just tedious, and or they'll use it for inspiration. There's a lot of ways that they could use it. And it's the same way with AI-generated art. When you put the AI-generated art on the internet, completely unfiltered, just press generate image and then post it, you get the images like he showed, which are obviously fucked up. Yeah. But if you use it as a base and go, well, I need some inspiration, I know kind of what I want, but I don't know what I want. Like, I need to make an image that encapsulates this. And you get it to generate a bunch of images until you get inspired by one of them and go, oh, I could turn that into something. And then you take that image and manipulate the fuck out of it and turn it into what you want. That's still a skill. It still requires using Photoshop. That still requires all the same skills that image artists use to this day. Only now you're not starting with a blank canvas. You're starting with one that requires a lot of manipulation. It's just a different puzzle piece in the puzzle that is art. And that's what it could be. And those are the things I'd love to debate with somebody like this that questions it, but instead he's going to roll right past it and make a video and never address it again. But anyway, let's hear his side of it, even though I can't retort and have an actual conversation with him.
I scrolled through the comments on some of these videos. I found so many people like that. How ironic. AI music will replace the soulless, crappy music that's being released now.
For all the reasons I just mentioned.
And have more soul. Here's the music the guy
No,
generated.
it won't.
Video, by the way.
Yeah, this is someone who didn't do anything to manipulate it. He just output a song and said good enough. Yeah, that's never going to work.
So true, exactly. Before the internet, you pretty much needed to find a record label to publish music. Record companies would not bother with what they would consider non-profitable. With the internet and cheap mixing tools, anyone can publish, and as such, we get a lot of garbage out there. AI music could put a quality floor about what is acceptable. So now we can't even fuck around with FL Studio anymore? It has to be deemed acceptable by a computer?
No, it doesn't have to be deemed acceptable. Anybody can publish anything. It has to be good to make money. That's what it is.
They're referring to. 99.9%.
Yes, it's going to make the artists up their game.
Right? Because generally, when people complain,
it's going to make artists up their game.
About what's on the radio. Who do you think is curating the music on the radio? It's the record labels that you love. If making music was more gatekept, it would only make things. Because
right now, most nobody, or back in the day, like I remember when fucking FL Studio launched. It's called Fruity Loops back then. I remember that back in like college. Back then, like nobody could make music unless you knew how to play an instrument. And now you're telling me I don't have to play an instrument, I can get on a computer. So a bunch of nerds got on there and started making songs. They made techno songs, they made all of these songs. Were they great? Were they Daft Punk level? No. But the fact that like you could do it impressed people because it blew everyone's mind. So you had a bunch of people who weren't talented and generated something with a tool instead of with musical talent, making music and actually getting paid for it. And then it became more common. And now it's not as easy to do that anymore. So then they had to start doing other stuff. This is the progression. So now, if you produce something that sounds like AI could make it, or that AI could make something better than what you've done in under 30 seconds, no one's going to listen to your shit because it's shit. Get better at what you're doing so that AI can't outdo you in 30 seconds. Because AI will never have the creativity of an actual person. So if what you're doing sounds like it could be done by an automated tool, you're right. You shouldn't be an artist. You're not good enough. Like, I hate to be that guy, but you're not good enough. Get better. There will always be ways that humans can make things AI can't. Because AI is trained on the stuff humans made. The AI will never learn something new. You can. The AI will never learn a new sound, a new trick, a new nothing that a human did not discover first and teach to it. So, get better. Get good, scrub. I don't know what to tell you. Stop complaining about it and up your game because it's not going away. And I cannot reiterate this enough. AI right now is the worst it will ever be. It will only get better every day. The AI you're experiencing right now is the worst version of it you'll ever see. It's not going to go away, and it's not going to get worse. It's going to get better, which means you want to be a musician now, you can't just make generic shit anymore because computers can do that. Now you have to actually be an artist. And how many artists have we seen, especially in pop and stuff, that make generic shit? It's Friday. It's Friday. What was that bitch? The bitch that literally...
Yeah.
It's generic as fuck. God. She was literally like produced into being a porn star. And not porn star. She was produced into being a pop star because she had enough money to pay to make her sound like a generic pop star. And it worked. That's not going to work anymore because we can do that in 30 seconds with no money and an AI text box.
I mean, all the shitty rap that we hear.
Will Smith's kids did it. Like shitty rap that just like, I don't have a good singing voice and I don't know how to rhyme. I got it. I'll use auto-tune on my voice and end all my sentences with the same word and then they'll rhyme. Boom, rap. Can't do that shit anymore because AI can do that. Make actual good music now. That's what it's going to do. And this is all the shit I'd argue with him, but he doesn't argue with people. So
is more democratized than it's ever been. Sometimes songs just blow up because they're catchy, not because Sony had a bunch of money to spend on marketing. Also, have you considered listening to something else? You know there's other radio stations, right? You know there's like 1 billion songs out there, right? You don't need AI to make more songs. You just need to get better at finding good ones. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're consistently...
Yeah, he's thinking about it backwards. You don't need to get better at finding good songs.
No.
Artists need to get better at making better songs. Because if there's enough artists making better songs, it'll drown out the AI stuff. And eventually people will get so used to AI that they'll be able to point it out.
Yeah.
It's easy to get carried away.
In the same way we can point out a bot on the internet now. When bots first launched...
Here's the key. You want to create...
Everyone was like, oh
when
my
bots
God.
first launched on the internet, the idea that the person behind the text that you're chatting with on AOL Instant Messenger or whatever back in those days, the idea that that might be just a copy-pasted script being read out to you by a robot seemed impossible to people. Every person you talk to on the internet was treated like a real person. Yeah. Now, most people can look at it and be like, that's a bot.
That's a bot.
That's a bot.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in video games, since this is a video game channel and you guys play video games too. When they first started using bots in multiplayer matches, most people didn't notice. They assumed that every single person they killed was a real person. They were able to trick entire generations of kids into believing that they were good at a game, even though they never killed an actual human being in those games. They never killed another player. But then it got to the point where we got so used to seeing them that we could point out the differences between them and humans. Because humans always learn new tricks, bots and AI cannot. And eventually you get used to their patterns and the way they operate, so that you can point them out at a glance. We can do it in Fortnite right now. I can look at how a person's moving and behaving and be like, it's a bot.
Yeah.
Easy kill. Yeah.
Michael found that out the hard way.
Yep. Yep. And it does unfortunately still work on some people to this day. We went through 10 matches with Michael, never even realizing he was fighting bots until I had to break it to him. Yeah. It's just people are going to have to get so used to it that they learn it. You're always going to have people that it'll trick. But as long as the vast majority understand that this is AI, they'll start avoiding it. If they don't want it, they'll start looking for better. And humans will strive for better. And that's how technology works. That's how technology gets better. Yeah. The technology gets better. Humans have to do something to make a better version of it to compete with it, so on and so forth. And that's the cycle of things that makes art better and makes technology better. You can hate it all you want. That's the way the world works. That's the way it has always worked. We're almost at the end.
I gotta go.
We're almost at the end.
Oh.
You can make it.
The type of music that people want to hear.
Hey, be careful. The last thing you want to do while making music is enjoy making music. That's not the goal here. You should be making songs you think other people will like. That's the key to happiness in every facet of your life. The thing with AI-generated music and artwork and videos as this low-effort passive income method is that it is going to get so oversaturated, eventually it's not going to be worth it for anybody. Here's how you can make $20,000 a month selling mid-journey photographs on Etsy. Okay, but all of the people watching this are gonna go make the same exact art using the same exact prompts and flood Etsy with millions of the same crappy piece of art, and no one's gonna buy any of it. It doesn't matter how much you increase the supply.
The only one making money is the guy making the video because it's clickbait and he'll get a ton of views.
Who was actually honest about the results in one of these videos. He spent a month doing this and sold one product. And that's probably best case scenario. So you've got more and more people discovering this new side hustle, and they're gonna try it out for a bit, maybe make like $4 and then give up because it's not worth it. But the collateral damage from that is they're helping oversaturate the market for everyone, including actual artists.
Yeah, but it won't stay oversaturated forever. It'll stay oversaturated long enough for their stores to die, and then the market will balance itself out and go back to normal.
As this technology continues
But during that boom where it is oversaturated, those people who were making stuff had to start making better stuff to compete, and now that becomes their new standard after all the AI stuff is gone. See, that's how the perpetuation works.
Has the same style to it, that weird glossy look that's instantly recognizable. It's still getting a lot of the same details wrong. It still doesn't understand what to do with text, and there's no reason to believe that all of that's suddenly going to change anytime soon, especially as it continues to train on other AI generated images and just eats itself.
Right.
So this is how I draw a hand. Got it. Oh, wait, no, this is how I draw a hand? Okay. Oh, no, this is how I draw a hand. The more information you give me, the smarter I get. And AI-generated video is an abomination. It has all the same issues as AI images, but adds them to every individual frame, all of which seem to act independently of each other. There are no rules they're following. There's no sense of physics. Body
It's in its infancy. It's going to be funny as they figure the kinks out.
Solid objects can pass through other solid objects at any time, resulting in this hellish dreamscape that's impossible to take seriously. And I think that people talking it up are delusional. I decided to put some famous album covers into Luma Labs AI. Here are the results. Fire emoji. The street looks so realistic. Followed when I saw this. Oh man, this is gonna be good. Who's that guy? Why did they all stop and run into each other? What are the cars doing back there? This is mine. Dope. This one is more fluid. You know, it's funny you say that. I actually think they both look like shit. This one's actually pretty good though. I like how it just created 2 new guys and then covered up the original one. If that's not a metaphor for what's going on here, I don't know what is. One thing that has been lacking with AI generated video up to now has been emotional performance from our Gen AI characters, but I think we're starting to cross that boundary. Hi, Hollywood. I think I found your next big star. Dream Machine from Luma AI is just 5
Yeah, it's in
years
its
old, and
infancy.
It's already turning memes into video. Here's 10 epic examples.
Oh my god!
So epic. What important technology this is. And useful too. I love when her head snaps around and the front of her body becomes the back of her body. It's just like real life. Wait, what? They turned a video of Elon Musk smoking into a video of Elon Musk smoking? Okay, now that's a game changer. If someone could just turn my videos into videos, I'd be set for life. What's that? They already have?
Road work ahead. Yeah, I sure hope it does.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, can you
Jesus
never
Christ.
fucking do that ever again, please?
The magic behind Kling lies in its diffusion transformer architecture. This technology helps it translate rich textual prompts into vivid, realistic scenes.
Realistic? The steering wheel's in the middle of the dashboard, there's 3 windshield wipers, the car is driving the wrong way and no one is reacting to it. That car is driving on the sidewalk. Sure, I guess it's interesting that a computer can create
Again, in its infancy.
Yeah.
But then what? What's the practical application for this? Are you making a movie about the wacky antics of a troublemaking cat? You couldn't put this shit in a movie. Even if you managed to smooth out all of the logical...
They did.
What?
They did put this shit in a movie. You can't put it in a movie raw, but they did put this shit in a movie.
What?
AI was used to make the Hulk.
Yeah.
They used AI to generate the bone structure, the muscle mass, like all that stuff. And then it was manipulated by actual artists frame by frame, because an actual artist having to draw the entire Hulk from scratch in every fucking frame would take forever. So they got AI to basically give them the skeleton, the outline, the muscle mass, all this stuff, and then they could manipulate it in a computer to make this and place it over Mark Ruffalo in-game so he could talk as the Hulk.
Yeah.
That's generally how it's used with CG, is that AI can help predict frames. It can help. It's using video games to add FPS to your video game as it predicts what's in between the frames to add more frames so that you get a smoother animation and a faster frame rate and the game runs smoother. Yeah, like all of this stuff has a practical use. You just don't get it. And that's fine. You're getting a normal person's reaction to it right now with who is this, Drew Gooden? Yeah, you're just a guy. You're just a guy who makes videos. You don't make the technology, you don't understand the technology, and you don't understand how to apply it. You're just seeing the raw output, and it's freaking you out. And that's what's happening to most of the internet.
Yeah.
When the raw output is not meant to be used raw. In the same way you're, not supposed to eat chicken raw. You're supposed to cook it. The raw output of killing a chicken is raw chicken. You're not supposed to just kill the chicken and be like, good to go. You have to do things to it to make it usable. This is the same. This is absolutely the same.
Thank you for that analogy.
You're welcome. Saving you from salmonella one day at a time.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Internet.
errors, there's still no style to it. It's not visually interesting. If you wanted this scene to have a narrative to it, you would need to generate so many individual shots from different angles and hope that they all match up, which they won't. The lighting's gonna be different in every shot. The car's gonna randomly change colors because there's no logical consistency with AI. It's just regurgitating information.
But what you could do, if you want to know how to use that AI base as a way to make a narrative shot and to make a thing. So what you could do if you were someone trying to actually make an AI movie, an AI generated movie. Right now you couldn't do a fully 100% AI generated movie. But what you could do in a scene like that is you could put your camera on the back of a car and drive down an empty street to give yourself the background and the layout and make the shots consistent. And then you generate the AI to generate what you want to happen in those streets to create your scene, especially if it's stuff you couldn't do in real life in a street that you're not allowed to be on to film a movie because you're not a movie producer, you're a guy with an iPhone. You find an empty street, you film it for a little bit, and you've got your scene. Now you generate AI to make what's going to happen. And yeah, you're going to have to manipulate what the AI generates to make it coherent and smooth and to form a narrative, but your lighting will be consistent because you filmed the background and the lighting. It's just what's happening in that street. Like if you wanted to have a bunch of shit explode in the street and people shooting guns and stuff, obviously you can't go out onto a random street without permits and all of this shit to do that. But now you can just film the empty street and impose real people and then fill in the rest with AI generated stuff. It would look a lot better than using a green screen. Absolutely. So it could be done. It's just a lot of extra work has to go into it. The people being lazy and thinking, oh, I typed a paragraph into AI, now I get a whole movie that I can just click upload and post and make money on. No, that's not how that's going to work. And you're right. That's what it's being sold as. So I get what he's saying.
Even if it has to contradict itself in order to do so. I honestly think the distance between this and this is so much shorter than the distance between this and something so lifelike people will confuse it for actual footage. Sure, maybe your 75-year-old grandpa will fall in love with the four-boobed lady he saw on Facebook, but most people aren't gonna fall for this, especially younger generations as they grow up with these things being so prevalent.
But
naturally train their eyes to be able to spot
right, which is why it's gonna have to get better, which is why this is the worst it's ever gonna be.
All tend to say the same thing. These are just tools to help anyone create art. Yeah, I want to push back on that a little bit.
No, not anyone. It's tools to help an artist create better art.
Accessibility of creative tools that help you take matters into your own hands. You want to make a short film? The camera on your cell phone is better than 90% of the cameras in human history. Want to learn how to edit? There's thousands of free YouTube videos that'll show you how. You want to make music? You can buy a professional audio interface, workspace, and a handful of plugins made by some of the most talented artists in the world for less money than it would cost to rent a recording studio for one day. And all of that is fucking awesome.
And that's doing the same thing AI's doing, idiot.
Make whatever you want without having to cross the insurmountable barriers that people did in the past. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need an exorbitant amount of money. You can just make stuff and put it on the internet, and with a little bit of luck, people see it. And there's so many tools along the way that help you streamline the process.
Right, and this is just another one of them.
Finished product. But at a certain point, if the tool is just doing everything for you, you are not an artist.
I agree.
You described what you wanted to make and asked a computer to make it for you.
Yes, that's not what they meant by tool, though.
Part of what makes art special is
I feel like he's glossing over the tool part of it. If it's making it for you, you're right. It's not a tool. It's being lazy. But if you're taking what it's making and turning it into something else, then you're using the tool.
Every movie you watch is the result of thousands of hours of trial and error. You can fail a million times.
And so is this.
Use that experience to finally succeed. Making a video using generative AI does not teach you anything about making videos. It's not like you could type 500 Sora prompts.
No, using it raw doesn't, but using the footage it gives you and learning how to manipulate and edit that footage into something usable does teach you all of those things.
Teach you anything about the process it would take to get there. And I think what these tech people will never understand is that finally figuring something out that you've been obsessing over, turning a blank Word document into multiple pages of something you're proud of, is the fun part. That's what's rewarding about making stuff, is figuring it out on your own or with a group of people.
That same process applies to manipulating the AI stuff into something else, though.
Faster? Sure, but it's not going to feel as rewarding. I understand how tempting a shortcut can be, especially when you go online and you see all these other people doing cool things.
See, I'd love to argue with him on this point because it's the difference between
10 years to learn how to make music like that. Okay. That's fine. What's the rush? Just start right now. Don't worry about how long it's going to take. Just take the first step. How are you ever going to do something for 10 years if you won't even do it for one day? Maybe you won't be.
I mean, by your logic, should no one ever use a template again, ever? That's taking that first step. We're supposed to start from a blank document, creating that outline and all those mundane parts. That's the fun part, right? So we shouldn't use templates ever, I guess, either. Like, it's this idea that it's evil that's like, I don't understand how people don't understand how to use it properly. Yeah, there's a lot of people using it lazily, but it's the people who see, like him, who see it being used in a lazy way and can't see the usefulness of it if used properly. Like, they can't envision using it any way other than, oh, just use it to make stuff and then post it. Obviously, that's gonna suck.
Until next time, stay awesome, stay weird, and remember, life's too short to take seriously. Catch you on the flip side.
Yeah.
And by the way, this existed in FL Studio and in other stuff. This is not a new thing. This has existed for a while, because how is telling someone, he even said in the video, if you got someone who has no musical talent, can't learn to play an instrument, they have no rhythm, blah blah blah, they just that thing that makes a musician, they don't have it. But they can download FL Studio, get a bunch of plugins, get the guitar plugin, get the piano plugin, and now they can make the music by clicking a button. That's AI simulating the music, genius. And guess what? That's existed on keyboards in a very primitive state. Anyone who's ever owned an actual keyboard knows that it's got pre-made beats and stuff you can start with and then put your own music over top of. AI is just a more advanced version of that. I don't know how you can't see that. Like, these shortcuts have always been a thing. This is just the next advancement in shortcutting, as he put it, that can be used properly. It just requires a lot more work than just, maybe not more work, but a different kind of work than taking out a Casio keyboard, doing one of those pre-made beats it starts with, or doing the record function where you can do 4 or 5 notes, hit record, and it'll loop them to make a beat for you, and then you can put it on top of that, hit record, and then do another one and put it on top of that, hit record. Yeah, you're not playing it. You'll eventually reach a point where you're not playing the keyboard anymore either. You're just singing while the music you made loops itself in the background. You built a song off individual stuff on that keyboard. A bunch of different musical instruments can play on a Casio keyboard. It doesn't have to sound like a piano every time. You can change it to sound like a guitar. You can change it to sound like anything. And now you can build a song using those building blocks. You're getting AI now that does that part for you. Now all you have to do is manipulate the blocks it built into something that looks like what you want, into something that sounds like what you want. Yeah, it can be used properly, and people just, it's going to take...
I'm not really sure why that was where his mind went.
Because that's where most people's mind goes, and he's making videos for most people. This is probably how this guy gets millions of views, by doing the popular opinion type video, which is telling people, yeah, he's saying what we're all thinking.
I'm just saying, that's not where my mind
That's the video. Yeah, but
went.
99% of the population are stupid. So that's like, I'm sorry, the morons they outnumber us. And he's making videos for the masses. How do you make videos for the masses? You make the most popular opinion stuff. You take the most base level take of something that you know everyone's going to agree with, because you don't want pushback. You want everyone to agree, and pretty much the only people who are going to disagree with you on AI are the people who understand AI, who either make it or use it, and those people are by default the bad guy now. So you win making this video. Yeah, it's got a bunch of uses. It's just going to take people time to accept it. Like he said, the next generation will be where it happens, because our kids are going to grow up with AI all around them. And they're going to be so used to it by the time they get to be in their 20s or 30s that it's not going to feel threatening to them anymore. They're going to get used to it, and they're going to learn to use it as a tool. They're going to go, oh, that's AI generated. What you have to do with that is you have to take that and do this, this, and this, and now you can make it into that. And then those will be your YouTube videos when they get older. Yeah, a bunch of tutorials on how to generate a bass with AI, and then use what the bass generated, how to get the bass to generate the bass you want, and then how to build upon that bass. In the same way, remember when they made colored clay? Oh, you mean I can make a clay bowl now? I don't have to paint?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. We find ways to make the bass better, and then people work with that bass.
I'm just saying, I don't know anything about AI, and, I'm not that tech savvy, but I do know about art and music. And
Yeah.
my first thought was,
Yeah, but the people but the majority of people, right? But the majority of the population, not only do they not understand technology, but they also don't understand art. The majority of people don't understand either. The majority of people aren't artists and have trouble using technology. That's why artists are hard to find and are revered and are, we look to them to entertain the rest of the masses, because not everyone can do what artists do. In the same way we look to people who understand technology to fix shit for us, because not everyone understands what they understand. The average person understands neither. So that's who his video is for, which is why it already has millions of views. Yeah, exactly. Guys, AI isn't going to take over. It's not a threat to anyone or any industry. And right now, anytime something new comes out that doesn't have a regulation around it, people are going to try to find a way to get rich quick off of it. Yeah. Okay? This didn't just happen with AI. This has happened with every business model ever. Dropshipping's a fucking thing. People selling self-help is a fucking thing. Like, multi-level marketing went through the same bubble. Like, all of this shit happens, and then the government eventually steps in, or society gets used to it and gets wise to it, and then it becomes a passing fad, and then the market's not oversaturated, and now we can see it for what it is. We're in that infancy phase where everyone wants to get in on the ground floor and try to make a quick buck. Eventually, those people will hit the door. Then all you'll have left with is the AI. That'll get improved on, and artists will learn how to use it, and then, it'll actually be used in other stuff. Again, it is already being used in stuff you might not even realize, because those are the people who understand how to use it. If it's used properly by people who understand how to use it, actual artists making CG things, artists already making movies, etc., if it's used properly by those people, you will never know it was there. And that's the idea. Anyway, that's what we're going to call it for tonight. So I want to thank all you wonderful witches for watching. I'm going to hit my ending screen here and let you